Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight, and we are at the finale, the last Middle Earth movie ever until the animated TV until the TV series comes out on Amazon. So we are at the last Middle Earth movie, directed by Peter Jackson, and this is the final Hobbit. And a lot of people think it's the say it's the least favorite one, but I think there is enjoyment to it. So let's get into it. The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. Chad, you messaged me about saying how you found it enjoyable. So why don't you go first?
I'd say I found it enjoyable in the sense of just mass chaos going on. It's enjoyable in that sense of like actually shit's happening, unlike
Yeah.
Desolation of Smog. So it's like there's stuff happening, but it's like what holds it back is it's like I've heard some people complain in the past. They're just like, like, oh, this battle, like it may be big, but like the stakes of it are nowhere near the same as like Return of the King. I'm like, the fuck difference does that make? I'm like, by that logic, then the final battle in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is better than the end of the first Iron Man because it's like you had the whole universe versus a building, and it's like no, so it's like the stakes don't gauge up what a battle actually is. But I'd say for this battle, it was just so much CGI, which is what it is. That's what this whole trilogy was. That's what movies are nowadays. People got to move past that. And the big thing with this battle just, and Santino, I know you'll agree, this battle just went on and on. I mean, this battle was like from beginning to end an hour and a half, maybe. It was like,
It's like
geez, you hit the point where you just want to like almost breathe or something, but it's like you don't really get that chance. But it's like I'd say the battle itself overall is really cool. Seeing the elf, just seeing the different factions clashing with each other. The beginning of Smog getting killed, which again that should have been the finale of Desolation of Smog, but whatever. And the weird thing about this one, and there's way more to cover, but just the end, it's weird. The ending of this one was like the opposite of the end of Return of the King, where it's like this one just stopped.
Yeah.
Like this one was just like it was just going, and just boom, done. And it's like, oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
How about you, Erica? Your thoughts on Battle of Five Armies?
I liked it a lot. I found it like the battle was like literally half the movie, and I totally agree with what you said there, Chad, about how the death of Smaug should have been at the end of the last one because it's just kind of like it was just like there, but it wasn't all that part of the next section, if that makes sense. But there's definitely a lot of CGI, but I think the CGI was like well done. Like it looked good, it looked cool, it was entertaining. They could have done a little bit more like practical stuff, but I feel like if some of the stuff that was in the battle that was pretty cool may not have been able to look the same. So there's pros and cons there. I love there's so many character arcs in this, which is awesome. I would say of all them, all three of these, this one has like the best character arcs, and that's probably because it is the finale. So,
Yeah.
but I had every emotion. I teared up a little bit, and I'll go through those moments when we get to them. But I really enjoyed this.
For me, it's like I'm not gonna, in the past Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies, I go blow the story and I talk about interesting points. This one, I'm not gonna do that because it's really just like an entire chaotic battle. And for me, yeah, it is interesting, but to be honest, it is. If I had to really, if I had to really think about it, it is my least favorite, just because of the fact that yes, there are nice character arcs, but it's just too much shit going
The
on. It's
story
like
is basically broken up into 4 points: the destruction and death of Smog, pre-battle, battle, going home.
yeah,
That's the whole movie.
yeah. It feels like this they really extended, like they really stretched this movie out a bit.
Yeah, that's a really good way to say it, Santino. I was trying to word the best. I was trying to think of the best way to say what you just said, but definitely seemed like they were trying to come up with more stuff to put in it a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I
yeah,
mean,
probably why probably why they put the death of Smaug in this one.
Yeah, exactly. They really wanted to extend it a bit longer. It's like you don't have to make it so long. But like, okay, so some important points. I did like the I did like one of the scenes I really like was Galadriel, Elrond, and Saruman versus the Ringwraiths. Even though the Ringwraiths looked like shit, like they looked like PS1. They look like PS1 graphics. It's like no joke. I saw this in the theaters in 2014 before I mean Christmas break already started. I was like, dude, what is this? It's like it looked bad. I mean, like, and Chad, this is coming from 2014, where I saw the Transformers turn to little cubes and turn into robots. So I was like, oh, and I thought that looked bad, but no, the ring race here, like, oh, wow, what the?
Probably, I've never seen any of these three in CG, but I'm guessing they looked like that because they were rendered in a way where they wanted them to pop out for those watching it in 3D.
Yeah, that makes sense, but I didn't watch it in 3D, so it just looked like garbage. I mean, like,
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like that's the
Yeah.
problem with the era of filming and converting to 3D. It doesn't work. I mean, Santino, we saw it when we did Friday the 13th Part 3.
yeah, yeah.
It's like the 80s bad CG, it's 3D, and then we're hitting like the 2000s bad 3D, where it's like it was made to cash in, but like that now it hasn't aged well.
In those situations, I always think like it would like make sense like to like make a version of it for 3D and then look at it in 2D and be like, okay, it doesn't look good in 2D, let's fix it for this version, you know?
I mean, like, yeah, that makes sense, but like, again,
They're not gonna spend money doing all the siege twice.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah. I just meant like for specific things, but
And of course, like, while I did like the fight between Saruman and Elrond and Galadriel and the Ringwraiths, like, there's a really big plot hole that I don't understand. Like, Saruman says, "Leave Sauron to me," after Galadriel does her magic and banishes him, and they never check in with him on that.
Yeah, they never followed up with it. No, the biggest issue with the movie is a line said near the end of the movie. We'll get there later, though.
All right. So, I don't know what that is because
As soon as I tell you, you're gonna be like, "God damn it!"
Trying to think what it could be.
All right. So let's go to okay. So let's go back to the main point of why we're here: the dwarves and Bilbo and Thorin. So Thorin is sick with dragon sickness, and that's basically he's becoming greedy because he took the mountain, and now he's broken his truce with Bard and the people of Lake Town. He won't actually give. He won't actually give them the gold, like not even a little bit. So that was mean. I mean, like, what else to say? I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, Thorin has been kind of a dick since the end of Destination Smog. He's been obsessed with the gold, so I saw this happening. I was like, yeah, I get it, dude, but like, yeah, you don't have to be a dick about it. I mean, like, yeah, you got them out, and yeah, like, in my opinion, you don't have to give to the elf. You don't have to give the elf his gems, or whatever, because he didn't help you. But the people of Lake Town did.
But here's the issue I had with that, though. That whole you don't have to do it because they didn't help you. But it's like you just reclaimed your kingdom. God knows how many other factions out there want this thing. You barely have it fortified. Why wouldn't you want as many allies as humanly possible? Just give Thandril the damn star gems, whatever he wants. Just give them to him. You've got like some of the most elite warriors on your side now. And it's like, I get the whole elf versus oh my god, there just a thought in my head.
Elf versus dwarf.
Yeah, and it's like, but at the same time, if you think back to Desolation of Smog, when they captured the dwarves, Thandril was still very courteous and very polite to Thorin. He wasn't rude. He addressed him as Your Highness. He just said, if you just give me back the gems I want, we're at your disposal. So all of this was basically, this is all just Thorin's pride and his fault.
Yeah, it was his pride.
Yeah.
Like, if I was Thorin in that in that movie, I'll be like, Investigation of Smaug, I'll be like, yeah, done deal. I'll give you the gems. You can help us out. And then maybe at least Thandril would have helped Thorin in the later movie.
Do you guys think that when he made that deal, do you think that in Thorin's head he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna give them the gems," or do you think it was the like sickness from the dragon that caused
He
him
never agreed to give him the gems.
No, like, I think he's talking about the people from Lake Down. Because remember, he promised them jewels. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was different. He promised them the gold in exchange for not throwing them all in prison when they were that close. It was a desperation thing. But at the same time, it's like if you stop and think about it, it's like I don't know the mindset of these characters as well, probably as somebody who reads the books and like studies all this stuff. But it's like that freaking mountain, like the interior of it, where all the gold was like the size of like a fucking neighborhood. Like I think you can part with a few hundred coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to talk about with that was the way they handled his whole like hallucination and wake up call. I thought that was well done with like the voices around him and picturing him like he saw himself like falling into the gold, and I don't know. I thought that scene was really cool.
Yeah,
And
that was a nice scene, even though it again it's like really bad CGI.
yeah, yeah, some of it wasn't. I just thought that the way that it was written was cool. The way that he had like voices in his head echoing, and then his whole like wake up call and like I don't want to say redemption, but just like admitting to his faults and being like, oh shit, what did I do? You know, I thought that was really good because I love redemption arcs, and even though I don't know if this counts as a redemption, but
I think it does.
yeah, I liked that. Like at first, I was just like, "Oh, Thorin, what are you doing?" And I also liked that the dwarves they like didn't support him. Like they were like, "Oh no, what has happened? What is he doing?" You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. Do you think it was right for Bilbo to hide the Arkenstone?
Yeah, it was never spelled out exactly what his 1/14th was. He chose one thing. Yeah, I'd say he was in the right. It's almost one of those things where it's like it almost comes down to your viewpoint because you could look at it and go, that was like the one thing Thorin wanted more than anything because it's his birthright, it's the mark of the king under the mountain. But at the same time, it's like Bilbo also knew that by giving it to him, it would have just made things even worse because he already saw him starting to spiral down. So it was like he knew the only way, because he knew what was going to happen. If they stayed up in the keep and the elves and men of the town launched an assault on them, they would die. And even if, let's just say, they didn't launch an assault on them, they were going to wait them out and starve them to death. And either way, it was just going to lead to, it was just going to head in a bad direction. So Bilbo was like, quickest, easiest way to solve it, take it, make it their trading point. Everyone gets what they want. Everyone goes away happy. End of story. And it's like, but at the same time, it's like Thorin still would have been like the angry king then, which I think definitely would have down the road, had the orc army not shown up, I think down the road that would have just led to another war that he would have instigated this time.
Yeah, I agree there. I think Bilbo, like I think it was something that he probably felt guilty about, but he probably he realized like I can't give it to him. It would mess it all up and it would cause more issues. And yeah, I agree with what you said there, Chad.
Yeah, and then okay, so so after that, there's the big battle, and let's just talk about our favorite like parts there. I mean, like for me, it was when Thandril like impaled 6 orcs on his deer and did like that, and all the heads.
Oh yeah.
It's like a giant caribou.
Yeah, what the hell was
Like
that?
a moose or something.
Oh, so some of my favorite moments in the battle was that there's a scene like right when the orcs arrive and the dwarves and the elves just kind of like agree without saying it that we need to do this together, and the elves like jump over the like barricade that the dwarves made and like got up like with their bow and arrows like took out a whole bunch of orcs, and I thought that scene was so cool looking. Like right when I saw it, I was like, fuck yeah, that was a really cool looking scene. I love that one so much. And then Bard rolling down the hill to protect his kids from what are those big creatures called that the orcs had? They were like kind of like giants.
I guess they were trolls, armored trolls.
Yeah, I thought they had another name for some reason, but yeah, they were trolls. But he like, do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I remember that scene. I did like it, and I like that's what I like. I actually Bard's a really underrated character, and a lot of people don't talk about him that much. But Luke Evans really played him well, and Luke Evans is also like used to playing bad guys like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, and uh that guy from Fast and the Furious. I forgot his name.
I think it was
Owen Shaw. There you go.
Owen Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
There
don't
you
think
go.
he did. He didn't do Beauty and the Beast yet, did he?
Yeah, he didn't, but like, it was nice.
No, I know what you mean.
It was nice seeing him as a good guy for once, because like he's like, he's a family man, and he just wants to protect his kids, and it was such a sweet.
You got to see Dracula Untold then if you want to see another like tragic story for him.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
I also like that he kind of like, I think his arc in this was awesome, and I like that he kind of became the leader after like killing Smaug. I thought that was like awesome the way, and I thought he was a good leader as well. There's another scene of Legolas hanging upside down from the bat, and he like, I don't know if it was a sword, but he took out like 20 or 30 orcs. And do you guys remember that scene?
Yeah, it was
upside down. I thought that
again, it was a cool scene, but again, it's in the mindless chaos that is this battle. Like, it's too much. Like it
it's just another fight scene in the movie.
It reminded me, honestly, Chad. Like, I'm gonna give this a comparison, and I think you'll agree. It reminded me of like the scene in the final battle in Transformers: Dark of the Moon, where it's just like so much shit going on. It's like, yes, I get it. It's enjoyable. It's like
But no, the final battle in Dark of the Moon was not enjoyable. Couldn't tell a damn thing that was happening in that movie at the end.
Okay, yeah.
It's just massive CGI blobs all over the place, and it's just like I have no idea what I'm supposed to take away from this. But I mean, at least I don't know. I mean, though, yeah, it's I don't even really know. I mean, it's just like the battle is just chaos, and it's like I mean, probably my favorite character from like all of like the new ones in here had to be Dane, because I always love that line that Gandalf says to Bilbo when he's like, "What's Dane like?" I always found Thorin to be the more easier to argue with or something. Whatever he said.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So, but here's a question: do you like how Bard killed Smaug? Like he put his boy on the freaking like as a target. Chad, Eric, do you like it?
Yeah, it worked.
I liked it, but the thing is,
because it was one of those things where it's like we do this together. If the arrow doesn't meet its mark, we're both going to die. So we may as well do this together. Because what's the worst that can happen?
I agree there. I thought that was it was that whole scene, like it was nerve-wracking. I felt nervous watching it. I was like, I wasn't sure if his son was going to survive or not, and so I don't know. I thought that whole scene was like angsty, and I thought it was cool the way that they did it, and it was like he kept telling his son like, "Look at me, don't look back, just look at me," and yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, and like, it's also in the sense that I at the opening scene I did like seeing Smaug destroy the village. It's like it just shows how not in a sadistic sense, but more like it shows how much power Smaug really had. And again, I agree. I mean, like, I like how he died. It's just the fact that I just found it a bit unrealistic because he's using his son as a freaking like target aimer. Like it's like, dude, like what are you doing? I just found it a bit unbelievable.
What do you mean?
I don't know what you call it. It's like
it's basically, I think that's basically like his some kind of breed. Like I've seen that in like mythical creatures that kind of the point that killed him. I've seen those. It's a common thing in like dragons in movies and films and books and stuff. So I feel like you can't really have a realistic way to kill a dragon since dragons aren't real.
Yeah, fair. You can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't have a realistic way to kill a dragon because the dragon isn't real. Uh, and then all right, and then finally we have so we have the big battle again, a lot of chaos, and then we have the deaths in the movie. So the casualties are Feely, Keely, and Thorin, if I remember correctly, right? Those were the casualties. Three.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it. Because like that's the one thing I remember that was eventful. Like, oh, they died.
That whole part there with the dwarves going to fight with Azog and the rest of them there. I thought that was
Yeah.
that part like it was really nerve wracking because I was like I think I had it set in my mind. I was like, someone is going to die. I don't know who, but it's going to break my heart. I know that. And then all three of them die, and I was like, no. That it made me cry. But I feel like the way that well, not the big one that kind of broke my heart was Keely's death. Because Keely just, I think he might be my favorite character because he like, I can't explain why, but he has this strong personality, which also has like a comedic side, and he just kept fighting and fighting, and
I was sad when he died. I mean, like I hate the heartbreak line that he was given the uh Tariel's house. Why does it hurt so much? And Thranduil was like,
oh,
because it was real. It's like, shit.
that made me cry. That's when I cried. That was so sad with the two of them there. Like they didn't even get a chance.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, basically, I mean, like Kiri dying. I mean, like I felt it. I didn't feel it when Feely died because like I didn't really know much about him because he was just.
Yeah, me neither.
I was like, okay. I mean, like you could have like just made him live, and maybe he would be more sad because his brother died.
Or they could have had
They
him.
died in the book though, so
Yeah, they could have had him made him more of like a focus in the trilogy. Then I would have felt it a little bit more.
From what I heard, like okay, that's the thing with that's the problem with the movies, or well, is because the fact that the dwarves are just a bit too much. I mean, like
Too many.
yeah, sorry, a bit too many. I cannot really relate to anyone except Thorin.
The main ones that I like focused on that I like felt like I got a chance to get to know was Keely, Thorin, and then Balin, the older one with the gray hair.
Yeah, I mean, like, but that was it. That was.
Yeah.
I mean, like after that, nothing else. I mean, I cannot for the life of me like relate to like the I can't even remember all their names.
Me neither.
I don't think you're supposed to.
I was told by Dylan, that my best friend, that a lot more dwarves apparently die in the book, but like only three died here. So it's like, okay, well,
Again, it's been a long time since I read the book, but to the best of my memory, only Feely, Keely, and Thorin died in the book.
oh, okay.
But I'm sure if Dylan's read it recently, he'd remember better than I would. But just yeah, my memory is just it was just those three of the main group.
All right. Well,
But
I'm not sure either, man. I
Thorin's whole battle with Azog was like
oh yeah, that was a sweet scene. I love that.
yeah, it was super intense with the music, and there's one part that I loved where he like Azog stabbed him with his sword, and then Thorin like gets this last moment of like power and like goes and stabs Azog and with the sword still in his stomach. Like that was
Yeah.
like that's a true hero there. Like that's what I'm saying is his character arc of just like I need to finish this for us, you know?
I really did like. I was really sad when Thorin died. Actually, that was one of the. Okay, yeah, that makes it that kind of makes me tear up because he just got his kingdom back, and he went arrogant for a while. Then he realized that, oh, I'm supposed to be a hero, and he died. And then I love what he said to Bilbo, like his last words were like, to Bilbo, were like, go back to your your house and your chair and relax and rest because it's over, or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the whole scene like right before he dies with Bilbo was like I felt like it was well written with the dialogue and both of their acting was really good there.
And then I also love that community scene after like Thorin dies, like Bilbo sits down and Gandalf sits right beside with him, and then Gandalf just takes out his pipe and starts smoking.
Yeah, just casually, like the
I was
whole.
like, well, like Gandalf's like, I'm too old for this, man. I'm gonna smoke right now.
Oh, you have much more to do there, Gandalf.
Oh yeah, like he has way like he thinks he's done, but like it's not even close, man. You're not even close to like anyway. But after that, they bury Thorin and feeding Kili, and Bilbo goes home, and there we've caught up to Lord of the Rings, and that's how it ends. I mean, like this is a pretty short review. I mean, because like usually it's an hour, but like, what's there left to say about Battle of the Five Armies? I mean, like it was a good movie ish, but then it's just CGI the movie, and like it's a lot of great battles, a lot of cool scenes, but again, it just feels like they really stretch this movie out so far that there's not enough story left. I mean, like
Yeah.
from what I heard, the battle in the book is like what, like a chapter,
maybe less,
or maybe less.
No. Yeah, about a chapter.
Yeah, right. So
because it's like they don't really go over much of it. Like Bilbo gets knocked out at the beginning of the battle in the book, and since we're following him, he gets knocked out, and then when he wakes up, it's done.
I feel like they probably. I mean, like I said, I haven't read the book, but I feel like they probably could have done these in 2 movies.
Yeah, I really feel like it could have been called The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey, and make it end when they get to Lake Down, and then The Hobbit there and back again, and that's Smaug and his whole battle.
Yeah,
it would have been better, but
it's one of those things where we can never really know how it could have been because this whole project was started by someone else, and then Peter Jackson this was not planned the same way he did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So it's like even I'm sure he's proud of his work that he was able to pull it off as well as he did, but this whole thing was not completely his vision and the way he wanted it to be. So it is what it is, but I mean, hey, I think he did a good job of what he had, but at the same time, a studio was going to say, no, we live in a world of trilogies. So it's like they weren't going to let him just do 2 movies.
Yeah, that's so true. In World of Trilogies, that's a really good way of saying it.
Yeah, you have to make it movies no matter what. Remember, like, dude, like if you can do it in 2, just make it in 2.
Hey, look at one of ours that they pulled off in 2 that worked perfect. It.
Yeah, or you haven't seen it, but like I watched it again recently. Look at Trainspotting and T2 Trainspotting. Those are based off books, and they want to make it. And you can argue that it was made. It could be made into trilogies, but you watch it and it's like, nah. Trainspotting and its sequel T2 are perfect for each other. That's it. All right, so sometimes maybe studios need to have the balls to make it like if it can be done in 2 movies, make it done in 2 movies.
Oh yeah, so the thing that I said that happened at the end I was just like they don't even give a damn about like continuity. So like I'm reading it right here, so I know I've got it right. It says that when this movie ends with young Bilbo, 60 years later is when Gandalf shows up.
Right.
Earlier, when the battle was over and Legolas was saying to Thandril, I'm not going back. Thandril says to him, go out and look for a ranger in the north who goes by the name Strider.
That's Aragorn.
How old was Aragorn? So Aragorn was what? Well into his hundreds when we saw him in Fellowship now?
Yeah. Whoa.
So he was alive long enough to make a reputation for himself, and then another 60 years went by? Bullshit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that. I know that I'm a little like it's not clear the aging process of.
Is Aragorn a man or is he something else?
No, he's a man.
He's a man, right? So wait, how the hell? Oh wow.
He's not a man. He's a man, not an elf. He's not some kind of hybrid. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that's just straight up retconning if they did something like that.
Was
No, he
that
can't because
one
he's the
of
king of Rohan at the end, or the king of Gondor.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
the?
that wasn't in the book,
he's
was
a
it?
man. He's a mortal king because
Was
they
it?
even said back in Fellowship with what's her face? Liv Tyler, when she's like, I choose the mortal life.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's just a
Wow.
man. So that was
That
a
doesn't make
stupid tie to Lord of the Rings that they had to throw in there at the
that
end.
doesn't make any sense at all. You don't have to mention Aragorn just because.
There was no purpose to that, none
Are-
whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. Are there any like Easter eggs in this trilogy that you guys liked? The Lord of the Rings? I'm just curious.
That's a good question.
No.
Any Easter eggs that I liked? Well, the one I did actually kind of enjoy
He screwed
seeing.
up the ring at the end of the movie because Gandalf knew about it and Bilbo lied about it.
The one Easter egg I like actually in this movie, well, you can't count Gollum as an Easter egg because Gollum was in the book of the Hobbit.
The book came
Oh yeah,
first.
okay. Seeing the prancing pony in Destination Smug because the prancing pony was the bar where Frodo and company went. So seeing that, it's like, all right, that's a nice one. But other than that, nah. The Aragorn Easter egg, yeah, doesn't make sense at all. And now that Chad mentions it, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there was any like really good ones. There's one that it wasn't good. It just kind of made me smile. I can't even remember which dwarf it was, but he was carrying like a
Oh, yeah,
picture. His wife and his son was Gimli.
yeah. One
Like
of
a,
the
it was
dwarves' son was.
subtle. Yeah, it was like a subtle thing that like wasn't. It was just kind of made me smile. That was it, basically.
Yeah. So now it's time to end our review with the rankings. So let's start with Chad. How would you rank the Hobbit trilogy?
1, 3, 2. Easy as pie.
Easy as pie. How about you, Erica?
Um, I keep going back and forth here. I feel like honestly, I feel like this was all one movie, just because, like you said, Santino, it was so stretched out.
Yeah, I was stressed.
But I just kind of went by ones that I enjoyed watching the most, which is Battle of Five Armies, An Unexpected Journey, and Desolation of Smog.
Oh, so Destination Smug's the highest.
No. That's like number one is
Oh, so
Battle.
now Destination Smug's the
Yeah,
lowest.
yeah.
Oh wow. So
It was
am
like
I the one with the unpopular opinion then?
well, no,
Because
see the thing is, I keep going back and forth between Desolation of Smog and An Unexpected Journey for number two. I feel like they're kind of tied because, I mean, I don't know. Desolation of Smog was like I found it to be like fun, if that makes sense.
yeah, it is fun, and that's my favorite. But like, if I had to rank it, I'd be like, at the lowest would be from lowest to highest. Battle of Five Armies, An Unexpected Journey, Desolation. Because like I have the most fun with Desolation, and I like Bilbo in that movie the most. And this is called The Hobbit, so he was really the most useful there. I mean, like in Battle of Five Armies, he didn't even really fight in Battle of Five Armies. He was just like, I'm gonna like hide and stab something.
Yeah, that's one thing that I would have liked to see. Oh, I just remembered there's a moment. You know how with the people of Lake Town, the like women and children were like hiding in like the town hall or something, and then one of the women she says, "I say we stand with our men in life and in death." And they go out and like join the battle, and oh, I love that. I love this theme in this whole like series of like women going and joining the battle, especially
Like Peter Jackson was never biased against that. I mean, like even
yeah,
Return of the King was like one of those. So I always thought like I know the scene you're talking about. So I always thought like yeah. I mean like I get it because he did it before, so he'll do it now.
yeah, and they mean they add in these things that are like subtle but still good, and I like that these women are like, we're not gonna sit here while they all die, and and I like I said, I'm also impressed because these books, like they're based off these books, they were written in like the 50s and 60s. So
Yeah.
having these moments, like I don't know if that moment with
That's
the
not
with
how they were written.
Hmm?
They weren't written with that intent.
I know, I'm not saying that it was purposely there. I just meant it has these it wasn't like biased towards women, if that makes sense. Not biased, that's the wrong wording. It wasn't like I like that there were these women warriors in it. That's the best way to say it. I like that we had that, and I like having those characters without it. Like it wasn't at all the like I wasn't saying it's the theme of these movies. It's not, but it's still there, and I like those moments.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, basically that's it. We are done with the entire Middle Earth saga. We hope you really guys enjoyed listening to us talk about it because it has been a great ride speaking, and I loved hosting it. So thank you so much for listening, guys. And this is Santillo signing off.
I'm Chad. Have a good one.
I'm Erica. I had a lot of fun with these, especially because it's my first time watching them. I'm definitely going to rewatch them. And thanks for listening. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good one.
All right. Bye, guys.